as much.
Your gig is right up the street from here.
Yes.
You spent a lot of time in Atlanta. What you guys? I mean, the fun and the entertainment that y'all give us when y'all do
you
the
gotta
show.
come through. You gotta just come through and just hang out in the green room with us. Because what we do on the set is just like a small version of what happens on the green room.
Right.
I need to, because we all laughing and joking, and then whatever we talking about just makes it to the set.
Right.
And then we finish, and then we go back in the green room, and then whatever. So we never like plan to go, we gonna talk about this.
Okay.
Or we gonna talk about that. Unless we talking about the game.
Okay.
But everything else,
all impromptu.
Oh, when I put Shaq to the tree, that's improv.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's just straight improv. We off the top of our head and
hilarious.
That's man. And the green room is that's funny.
It's something else. Who would you see for the future that could fit in with y'all?
I would love to see Kobe.
That's what I was going.
I want Kobe.
Do you think he'll do it?
I hope he does, man. Because
has the offers?
I give him offer sheet right now. We need a fifth person. We need a fifth Beatle. And that would be
that'd be hot.
Because him and Shaq have so different viewpoints.
Right.
Every time you watch interviews over the years, they have such and Shaq has story about Kobe, and Kobe has stories about Shaq.
Yeah.
That are just hilarious.
I just would love to see Kobe up there analyzing and critiquing other players too. Like,
That's gonna be something
else.
I would love to see him with our show. Even if he came once a month, man, we take him. The funny thing is, like Shaq told me a story. Phil Jackson's going through all of the, their pregame speech, and Kobe's in the back, like with an imaginary basketball, going through the game. And like as he's going to his pregame speech, and Shaq just looks at him and like what the hell is he doing back there? So then they get to the game, it's like they down one with like 30 seconds to go, and he goes, well, we're gonna run the play and get in the Shaq. Shaq is like, nah, give it to the dude who was playing with imaginary basketball. He's ready. I ain't ready. Give it to him. Dude playing with imaginary basketball. He need the ball with 5 seconds left. Give it to him. So like those type of stories, it only come out if they both together.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Oh, it'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. Shout out to Chris Webber too. He's become quite the animated spokesman on the show as well.
Yeah, man. And Chris is great. Even though I didn't run through the tape that time in our little race, but Chris is always fun because he's got, great player perspectives, man. I mean, those guys are Hall of Famers.
Yeah. And
they've carried franchises.
Right.
And then I could come in as a different perspective, like as a really good player that played with great guys.
Right.
And see how they act. And so you get all these different perspectives when you watch our show. That's what makes it fun.
How long have you been on TNT? How long has it been?
Man, it's been 16 years.
16 years.
Wow.
So almost. I've been on TNT more than I played in the NBA.
Wow.
I would have never, like, when I say that, I said that last year for the first time.
Wow.
Because somebody asked me a question. I was like, 15. I was like, wow, I've been on TNT more than I played. So most people know me as that.
How do you compare it? I mean, what is it comparable?
Crazy.
Can you? Which career has been more?
It's nothing like playing.
Of course.
Nothing. Like to walk out in the arena and 22,000 people screaming, like there's no feeling like that. And it changed direction. I would imagine that an artist go out on stage but it's the same show every night.
Right.
This a different show every night, and it changes inside the show depending on what you do.
Right.
There's no feeling like that.
Who in today's NBA would you have loved? And you can give me a couple if you want. Who would you have loved to have played with?
LeBron for sure, because he passes. He's a superstar who passes. I don't want a guy who just don't want to include me inside of the realm. I don't want to just play D all night. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would be fun to play with.
You played with one of the best.
Yeah.
Olajuwon.
Yeah, with Olajuwon, it's like, you got the bigs, and what they do is like they attract so much attention that allows you to do other things, and they get double teamed, and you get wide open shots. So, Dwight Howard used to be that guy, but he's not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
So, he would have been one that I would have liked to play with maybe when he was in Orlando.
Yeah.
Do you still root for them as your team?
The Rockets, I still root a little bit because they're over the years they fire and hire people that you've known for a long time that like worked in this department and that department. I think that's where the affiliation comes from. So I still root for them. but I don't have the same affinity I do probably like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Like 5 years ago, I was like Rocket die.
Right.
I'm Houston though.
Okay.
I still love Houston, man. Like shout out to Mad Hatter and J Mac over at the stations, you know.
Shout to those guys.
Yeah, man. Those are my dudes, man. I still love them.
Growing up, what was your team?
Knicks. I grew up in Knicks. I'm born and raised in New York City, man. I was a Knicks fan. I wanted to be Clyde Frazier. I wanted a mink coat, and I wanted a mirror on my ceiling. You know.
I made a bet with somebody the other day, and I said it's a friend of mine. I've known him. I'm probably gonna know him for the next 10 years. But I told him I think the Sixers will get a chip before the Knicks will get a chip.
Ooh.
And
That's a tough one, man.
It's a tough one.
The way it's constructed,
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Okay.
However, the Knicks will sell their soul to win.
Right.
So they'll overspin or do something that just changes the whole direction of
Right.
where the franchise is now. They might just say, all right, we're just getting rid of everybody and we'll pay anybody.
Yeah.
So they will do, Sixers will say, no, this is our plan.
Yeah.
And we're going to stick with it.
I think the Lakers will do something like that too.
The Lakers will blow
like next
everything
year,
up.
they're gonna have to go and
Just explode, like they just gonna just.
They're gonna have to bring somebody in.
Yeah. The Lakers will do the same thing.
Yeah, because Kobe ain't doing nothing next year.
Speaking of the Knicks, like, what's your take on Phil Jackson? What is as what is he, VP?
Yeah, he's the general manager, vice president, whatever they is.
Look at your man.
Like, yeah, Shaq is out of control. Like, the fool is on and the TV's on here. But he's the best. The problem is the best general manager should be their coach.
Yeah.
And then their coach is probably their best point guard. You know, so it's like it's hard. It's hard to like they're in the wrong spots like right now. And I think that triangle offense is something that Phil created, and in his mind how it works. And everybody who else has tried to do it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked for other than Phil.
Kenny the Jet Smith is here. Playoffs are officially here. They have been set. What are your predictions? What are your thoughts?
San Antonio Spurs are coming back again.
I told y'all
Going
that.
to the
San
finals.
Antonio
I told you
Spurs
that,
are
nigga.
coming back again. Western Conference. I'm gonna just go Western Conference. Spurs will be in the Western Conference.
I'm seeing the Warriors over the Clippers though.
Oh yeah. The Clips.
The only thing that concerns me about the Warriors, I love them. I love Steph, but they're like a perimeter team. So,
But they're
it's
different.
defensive.
They're different.
Okay.
They're different perimeter team. That's like, I'm gonna go music. That's like saying I don't really like freestyle rappers, but then you go Jay-Z.
Right.
Like that's what he does. He goes in the booth, nothing written down supposedly, and he just raps.
But he's all about that song structure too.
However, these guys shoot. They don't shoot like a perimeter team. Like you say, oh, these guys shoot too many threes, but the way they make them is never been in the NBA. Like there's never been another. You can't name 3 better shooters than Curry and Thompson ever.
That's true. Absolutely.
So you can't even name guys like him. So Ray Allen and Reggie Miller made their career on shooting threes. So when they shoot threes, you're not saying they shooting too much. They're the same way.
Eastern Conference. Let's talk the East Conference. We're in Atlanta. The number 1 seed. How far can they go?
I say they don't get to the conference final.
They don't.
Not even the conference.
They're not
They get
going
to the semis.
They're not going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, because Chicago's here.
Okay.
They're back. Derrick Rose looks like Derrick Rose. I think in the beast of all modes, LeBron is gonna be there, and I think it'll be those two. Now, the way it looks, they might play each other.
Yeah.
Before it even.
What
seed is Chicago set?
Well, it all depends on a couple things, and we'll have all that information by now. But it's I think that between Derek's health, the way he looks now, I think unless they play each other, then it's going to be in the semifinals. But Atlanta, without its interest.
Yeah.
They were the most boringest team, man. Honestly, man. I've been here 16 years, man. They've been boring for a long time, man. And now to have excitement with guys that don't even dunk, it's not because they're dunking on you.
Yeah.
They're just excited now, which is good, man.
Are you seeing the Cavs go to the finals?
I could get them to the Eastern Conference. I can't imagine them being in the finals.
So you picking Chicago then?
Yeah. I just can't imagine it. I just like, you get a new coach, you get a new players, new team, and you can make the finals? Nah, I don't think you can do that. I just don't think you can do it.
Let's talk MVP.
Oof, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Say no more. I mean, the way he started and the way he's finishing.
Okay.
It's been all year.
So if I say Westbrook, if I say
They
LeBron,
have better moments.
Okay.
They've had much better moments than they've had longer moments, but they haven't had the year that he's had. And to me, MVP should always start with the best player on the best team.
Right.
In the best league, and that's him. He's the best player on the best team on the best league. He's got to be the first consideration, unless he had 6 guys with him.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was like, well, but they're like, oh, his team's, he's got Klay Thompson, like perennial all-star. That's it. That's all he has.
What player are you probably most disappointed in their career that could have?
Disappointed. I would never say disappointed. I probably maybe we projected wrong.
Okay.
That's playing right now.
Just in general, because I'm gonna say AI.
You disappointed in AI's career?
Yeah, I feel like
Why you
AI.
say that?
Why do I say that?
Yeah, you're a Philly guy. Let me hear it.
Yeah, because AI is one of my
You talking
favorite.
about no championship? Is that what you
He
mean?
ain't never got a ring, and I think if AI would have put in a little more,
Did he practice? A little bit of
a
practice.
little more practice, and just a little more, into his craft, he would have wound up with a chip.
I say this. You might be right, but to squeeze all of the juice out of that body,
Yeah, he got a lot out of it.
he got a lot
Yeah.
out of that 6'1", no, not even, I'm sorry, 6 foot frame.
Right.
That no one's ever gotten. So I agree that he could have taken it in different seriousness in different ways. But that might have made him who he was. Because he had that I don't care attitude.
Right.
So if he cared in that realm, he might not have played as well. So certain guys are different. But AI, man, he got a lot out of that. Man. He got a lot.
What's your biggest? I don't want to say gripe, but what is the biggest difference that you might not that kind of I say ticks you off, the difference between the league now and when you played?
What ticks me off about the league now and when I played is the guys who played in my era ticks me off. Because when they talk about it, they talk about like they never did none of the stuff these guys did. And I'm like,
It's kind of the same in music. It's the same in the hip hop. Yeah, like back in our day, we didn't do that. Yeah,
like you was dancing to the Humpty Hump, and you was like, there was no lyrics to that. There was no that wasn't hot music. That wasn't like lyrically thought of.
Hilarious.
You was dancing to that, and then you gonna come and say that's not hot.
Right.
Like
Hilarious.
no, you can't. The guys today, honestly, they're much better athletes. Much better. Would have performed at a high level in our era. It just was less teams. So there was the bad teams now, there's more of. But if you take the top 15 teams in the league, they measure against the top 15 teams in our league. It's just the bottom is a little bit lighter. But the players, Kevin Durant would have bust everybody's ass in our era the same way. It would have been no different, man.
Speaking of eras, you feel like you played in the best era?
For teams.
Okay.
A best era for teams, not for individual play. Just because they were more focused on one team. We had Clyde and Keem, and they didn't even plan that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. They didn't even plan that. Where you say, well, LeBron had Wade and Bosh. Yeah, but you had Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. 3 top 50 players of all time. In any era, they will always be top 50. They played together, I just think that our guys forget. And I get mad at them, and they're like, oh, how's he thinking like that? How's he spending his money? Yo, there's a lot of guys broke from that era, too.
Right. What's one of the, when you meet the youngsters, whether it's an all-star, whether it's in the studio or in any situation, what's probably the most asked question of you from the young perspective of
how do I stay around?
How do I stay around?
How do I stay around?
How do I keep the money around, or how do I
stay in the league?
Right.
And because the problem is a lot of guys, just because you don't play, sometimes guys start thinking they can't play.
Okay.
I'm like, nah, you just got to wait for your window. Your window, when the window open, you just got to jump through it. And when you jump through it, then all of a sudden you in. But if you don't prepare like you should be there, then you're not going to be there. Because everybody there's only 3 or 4 guys that come into every draft and they're going to play right away and they're going to get all the attention they're going to get to play their way. Then the rest of us, I was a 6th pick. The rest of us got to figure it out. And like I'm the 6th pick in the draft, but the top 1 and 2, they got it. 6, I'm like, yo, how do I stay around? And I always got to be prepared for when the window opens.
The 6th pick in the first round.
In the first round, you got to be.
Get it.
Yeah, because 6th pick, you go into a bad team. So you go on a bad team with bad habits. So you got to.
Oh, that's right, because I'm the lottery.
Right, you're in the lottery. So you're going to. So now, if you take on those guys' habits, and then when your window open, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Or you come in, let's say the 22nd pick, you go into a really good team.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, oh, I'm never gonna play. So then you start hanging out. You don't do the things that you're supposed to, and then when you all of a sudden, Tim Duncan goes down for 10 games, they're like, these are 10. You got to be ready. You just got to be a pro, and being a pro means if they put you in the game at any second, you're ready like you were playing the whole time. That's the difference.
The Jet is here. I got two hip hop related questions.
Yeah, man.
First, I want to know. I want to know your all time list, your favorites of all time.
Okay.
And then your right now. Who's hot right now?
The best players or my favorites?
No, I'm talking
There's
about
difference between my favorites.
Let's do music first.
Okay.
On rappers.
My favorite. Well, I'm a Queens guy, so I'm starting with Nas.
Start with Nas.
Yeah, you know, he broke the barrier of what that 5% of talk. He brought it to like music, like so him and Eric B. You know, obviously Jay. And then when I come, I love Outkast, man. They were the first people. Outkast and Scarface were the first people that I liked outside of New York.
Right.
I was a straight New York head. If it wasn't from New York, I hate it. I don't want to hear it. Then when I heard Outkast, when I first heard Scarface, and I heard the Ghetto Boys, I was like, I was like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
So those are my 5 right there.
Okay.
Just because it broke the barrier, but KRS-One lives on another level sometimes.
I agree. He was one of my favorites at one point. Okay, let's talk now. Current rappers.
Current rappers. Oh, well, some of them I don't understand because I'm not in the lingo like that.
Yeah.
So my environment doesn't allow me to feel it the same way. But
Good answer.
I like Big Sean.
Yeah.
Big Sean, you know, other than the diss record to Ariana, to the other, what's her name that he used to date?
Oh, Naya Rivera.
Yeah, other than that, you know, I was cool with him. I ain't feel that.
You didn't like that?
Yeah. Because the man, to me, has always got the power. So he don't need to, like, express it that way. To me, the dude always has the power. So I like Big Sean. I like Nuke School. I like Rich Homie Quan.
You like Quan?
Quan is hot.
Yeah.
I mess with him. Always Fabulous. He's like new old.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of...
Fab is staying one of the most consistent over the last
I always
10,
mess
15
with
years.
Fab. Yeah, I mess with Fab all the time. So I like... those are the 3 that like jump out at me right off the top. Obviously, you know, because I don't consider Kanye and those guys that new up and coming. Like,
They're one of the greats.
Thugger, you got to mess with Thugger.
Yeah, Thug. Shout out to
Yeah,
Thug.
you got to mess with him.
What makes Kenny the Jet Smith's All-Star party so legendary? I mean, what?
Because I don't have a VIP section.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Right.
There's no such thing.
But everybody's not getting in.
Right. You just, if you're in, you're VIP.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't have to worry about, like, if you need security, you should bring them with you, and then they'll be sitting at your table. But if you're in, you're in. Like, how can I tell you can't go upstairs?
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Because you don't have a wristband. That doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
Like, that's not grown man to me. Like, you know, BL just walked in. How can we tell him he can't go upstairs?
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you can't go in certain parts of the house.